Feel like a lot of reoccurring questions keep coming up. How do you activate your glutes when you press for time? Injury prevention, pelvic floor. That one is super hard to show people. How to plan races, or how do I kind of tailor my year to, no, okay, back up. So when I launched this channel, one of my main missions was to take the fans along with my journey. I wanted to let you guys in on my life as a professional athlete, as a mom of 2 boys, as a celiac, as a business owner, entrepreneur, coach. And along the way, I've kind of realized that bringing the fans along with me helps me, tailor which direction these episodes are gonna go. So recently what I've been doing is I've been asking you guys what are some topics or content that you would love to see in future episodes. And so it got me thinking that every couple months we're gonna do an episode that is devoted just to answering your guys' questions. So I have my notebook here, and each time I post on Instagram or on Twitter and I ask you guys, what would you love to see more of or less of? I write those questions down and I have a really long list going. And then we're gonna devote these episodes to simply just answering your questions. So to make you feel more part of the journey, when I launch those episodes, you can either comment in the comment box below on the episode. You can still reach out to me on Instagram at Steph Rothstein, or on Twitter at Steph Rothstein. I do need to change from my maiden name to my married name eventually here, so it's a little confusing. But yeah, and then anytime you guys just have a question, that's the best way I'm gonna be able to answer it, as opposed to maybe devoting a whole episode to that one topic. I'll try to just pick 3 to 4 questions per episode. So today, that's what we're gonna do. I picked a couple of questions that you guys recently asked me from my Instagram post, and I'm gonna try to, best way I see, answer some of these questions for you. So I've had this question asked a lot in different avenues, and I've tried to write some blogs on it, or a lot of times when I post on social. But the question is, how do I maintain energy levels or recover when I'm training, racing, and chasing 2 toddlers around my house? Well, let me be super transparent with you. I have the luxury that running is my job, so I get paid to do it, right? I don't just get paid to run, but I get paid to sleep. I get paid to eat well. I get paid to recover. And so since it is part of my full-time job, I don't have any excuses or any things that would hold me back from allowing myself to just recover all day long. If you listen closely in my house, you don't hear anything. That's because my boys are at daycare, and they go to daycare 5 days a week. And they go from basically 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And so in those, 7 to 8 hours in a day, that is my time to get in all my training, to get in my pre and post rehab, to take my nap, to get chiropractic appointments, massage appointments. And so really, when people give me so much credit for how I'm doing all I'm doing with 2 kids, I really have it easy in a lot of ways, because I have the luxury of time and I have the luxury of resources. So I don't want to take any credit away from me that I don't work really hard, and it is a juggling and balancing act. But as a pro runner, I do have the luxury of, like I said, it being my job. So the best way I could say is for someone who it's not their job and you're trying to figure out how to train, race, and balance raising kids, is you just have to work on time management, and you have to figure out what's really important to you. For me, sleeping is super crucial. And so I know what time my kids wake up in the morning. And so I go backwards and I say, okay, if I need 9+ hours a night of sleep, I need to make sure I go to bed, because my boys are gonna wake up at 6 a.m. So that might mean for you, if you work full time and your kids are gonna have demands from you, and you have life demands and work stresses, you have to figure out how much you can run with all those stresses without getting hurt, and then treat yourself. And the treating yourself is, if running is so important to you, schedule massages, go find a good chiropractor, get body work done. Those are little tips that I think get overlooked a lot. You just wanna train, but I think it's really important to look at the recovery aspect of it. And then the other side of the coin would be, think about when you're away from your kids and you're either racing or you're on a trip. To me, that is the time where I'm like, I'm gonna get the most out of myself, and I don't have any excuses to say, I just didn't have it today, I was so tired. Like, I'm giving up that time I'm spending with my children, so I really wanna make the most of every opportunity. And that helps me push myself in a race. It really does. I think having kids changed my perspective of how hard I was working and how hard I was training. And since I don't get to have them around all the time during the day, I better make the most of my time, when I'm away from them. So hopefully that's something that you can take into your life, and you also realize we're all on our own path. And if you have friends that you're in a training group with and they don't have kids, don't compare your workouts or your race results with them, because as we know, parents, training and racing with toddlers, it's a whole different ballgame, but one that I think is totally worth it. So the first question I'm going to answer is, how do I plan my races in a calendar year? So that's a really great question. When I'm planning my races, it actually involves a team of people. So it's myself, it's Coach Ben, it's my agent Josh Cox. And what we kind of do is we like to look ahead and pick what either the goal race of the year or maybe the goal race of the following year, and then we plan backwards. So with it being April of 2019 now, the big focus is trying to make the Olympic team in Atlanta in February of 2020. So essentially, we know that one date, February 29th, and we try to say, okay, how can I plan backwards? What's gonna set me up over the next, 9 to 11 months to be successful on that one day? So it's Coach Ben's job to plan the training out. We sit down and we think, all right, what races do I ideally think I would be successful at this year? What am I trying to work on as a runner? And so when we sat down in early 2019, a couple of the goals that I was thinking of is, I want to learn how to make teams. I want to relearn how to win races. I want to put myself in positions to work on what I will need come February 29th to make that Olympic team. And so we decided to skip a spring marathon. I'm sure most of you realize that now because spring is almost over and I haven't raced a marathon. But that was on purpose. We wanted to really focus on 10Ks. I ran world cross country. We wanted to work on just sharpening my skills as like a faster, quicker, more strength-based this spring. And that way when I go into the fall and have a fall marathon plan, we worked on all the tools that I might not have in like my 10K arsenal or 10K bucket this spring. And so I'm running this will probably come out after, but I will have just raced the US Half Marathon Championships. I'm running the US 10K Championships in the first week of June, the defending champ, so lots of pressure. That's at the New York Mini. And then most likely I am running the 10,000 meter at USA's this year, and that's in Des Moines, Iowa at the end of July, and that's to try to make the world team in Doha. And then I am running a fall marathon, but I can't tell you guys at this point which one, so you'll have to wait and stay tuned for that. But yeah, it's really just about periodizing what's the main focus and main goal, and then working backwards from there. And so since I now have a pretty good race calendar, Coach Ben is the one who steps in, and we're really big into breaking our training cycles into like 7 to 8 week segments, because you can't just have a race 6 months away and then be pounding the pavement or the track for the next 6 months. So Ben really likes to have planned down weeks, which essentially you could call a rest week. Usually after a big race, we always have a down week. And for us, a down week looks like maybe you have the day off after a race, and that means like no running, no cross training, and then 4 to 6 mile easy runs for like the next 3 to 5 days. And then usually that weekend I'm back doing a long run, maybe up to like 15 or 16 miles, and then I get going. And so this year it has been I'll have a race every 3 to 4 weeks, and then I'll have a down week and then get ready for another race. So when I don't have a marathon, that's essentially what the cycles look like. And then when I have a marathon, we usually start building for that about 3 months out. But again, that's still broken into 2 cycles. It's usually like a 7-week and an 8-week cycle where I might have a half marathon or a lead up race in that. And then again, after the marathon, then I have a full 2-week off recovery. And in those 2 weeks, like, it is legit off. I don't run a step for 2 weeks. I don't cross train. I just let myself have fun, have a couple of drinks, like eat whatever. I don't care about nutrition or recovery, and hopefully like just enjoy and indulge in the rewards of having run a hard marathon. The next question is, what is considered an easy run, a workout, or a long run? And for some people, like, they get this and they've been running for a really long time and they definitely know the difference between those 3. But I understand that people who are new to the sport, when they see like I have a workout, they just think that's what running every day is. But for us, the big difference is, easy run pace, and I'll just give you a reference point for me. Easy run pace for me up here at 7,000 feet is anywhere from 8-minute pace down to 7-minute pace. And that means I'm truly recovering. I can talk on the run. I could have a conversation. My heart rate is not very high. And it's kind of just, it's essentially like a maintenance run. Then when you get to workouts, and we have either 2 or 3 workouts in a typical week, workouts are where you're trying to prepare to run fast at the mile, 5K, 10K, half marathon, and marathon. So the pace change from an easy run to workouts is going to be pretty significant. So for me, my marathon pace currently is 5:40 pace. And so if you notice, I said my easy run pace was 7 to 8 minutes. That's a whole 2 to 2.5 minutes slower. 2 to 2.5 minutes faster when it comes to marathon pace. So there's a really big range. And I think when you're just getting started in running, that range is probably much smaller. But the hope and I think the goal of runners when they're trying to be a little more competitive is to widen that gap between what an easy run pace is, what a marathon run pace is, and then what 5K and 10K pace is. Now when we're getting down to 5K and 10K, for me, my current 5K pace is 5-minute pace, and 10K is around 5:08 per mile. And so between marathon and 10K pace, now we're talking 30 seconds difference. And so the whole reason that you put workouts in is because when you're running those faster paces and then you run an easy recovery run the next day, you're becoming really efficient at running 5-minute pace, 5:30 pace, and then allowing your body to recover running 7:30, 8-minute pace. And then we move into the weekend and the long run, and the long run generally starts out as easy pace, but you're just trying to increase the distance of what you set out to run. So in the beginning, someone's long run might be 10 to 12 miles, but for us, the minimum long run I'm doing is usually like 14 or 15 miles. And then when I'm in marathon training, that's going all the way up to, I run 26 miles easy during a marathon buildup. I don't have to run that to know that I can run the marathon distance, but for us, it's all about teaching your body how to run on tired and fatigued legs, and that's what the long run does. It teaches you, wow, I have to run this long and this far even when I'm really tired, and that's what preps you for that feeling that you get in a race. Like, you get very tired at the end of a marathon, but if you've done the training to teach your body, it's still gonna be uncomfortable, but your body is used to that and it can handle it a lot better. So that's probably the best way I would explain the difference between easy run, workout, and long run. Questions with Steph, that's kind of what I'm gonna call this new episode series, but I'm really liking it. I think that people are gonna find this information valuable, and it's kind of the best way I could impart my knowledge of these topics to you guys, and really no question is off limits. That's what I love about my channel. It's real talk, and it should be about any issues and content that you guys want to hear about. So please feel free to ask whatever your burning heart desires, and hopefully I can best answer the questions. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in to Sundays with Steph.